Got to get it, Papa. Ooh, well, hello everybody. It's a warm, sunny summer day here, and I'm here because I saw something that's pretty cool that you don't see every day. And we'll see, somebody's driving up behind me. Look, wave at them. Oh, they're parking. Anyway, they're parking right there. Anyway, look that. Over there, over there. That is some big, giant cans of delicious Steen's syrup. And if y'all don't know, this is South Louisiana, and we have a lot of farms around here where they grow sugar cane. And one of the things you can make with sugar cane is pure and natural, delicious Steen's cane syrup. And years and years ago, this is where they actually make it, the factory and everything. And this is where they make it, and somebody had the idea to decorate these giant bins as giant syrup cans, and it's been a landmark for a long time. And if you ever have a chance to get some Steen's syrup, get some, because it's delicious. I'm gonna probably there should be something down in the comments down there about the Steen's syrup. And if you can't find it where you are, you can probably order some, I would think. Well, that's pretty cool, huh? Man. Whew, I'm getting in the shade. But all this is the Steen's syrup making complex. Since 1910. And just as delicious today as it was when they got started. But I'm gonna go find something else. So hang on. And look that. That, my friends, is sugarcane field. And the sugarcane is getting pretty tall. It's taller than me already. And it won't be too much longer, it'll be ready to cut. But this is kind of where Steen's syrup comes from. Steen's cane syrup in the yellow can. See that? It's like big stalks. It's kind of like it's a, well, it's sugar cane. It's what it is. But you see, there's the stalks, and they cut it and they grind it and they mark it with a B and they put it in a can for you and me. Well, I might have to sell them that. And see, it's planted in rows. You can kind of tell right here. It's kind of like corn. You plant it in rows. And they got big old machines that come through and come cut that. And they squish that and squish that sugar cane juice out of there. And that's how it works. Pretty cool, eh? Well, here I am in bustling downtown Abbeville, Louisiana. And this is a neat old town, and it's got something really unique about it that some people might not even remember. In order to talk about this interesting thing about this town, I might have to put on my spooky voice. So get ready, because it's gonna be scary. If you have little kids and people who get disturbed by people using spooky voices, you might want to like get them out of the room, or maybe have them put a pillow over their head or something. so they don't get too scared. Starting with the courthouse here. They have a square. The road actually goes all the way around the courthouse. And that's the Parish Courthouse. And this is downtown. Drives right up to it. And it's pretty picturesque. It's a nice little downtown. And in the distance here, you can see the big Catholic church, big spire. You can see from all over the place around here. Well, it's about time to start getting spooky. So I'm gonna get spooky, and I'm gonna use my spooky voice. Spooked yet? Are you scared? You're gonna be. Because there's a scary story about Abbeville. Because many, many years ago, they filmed a movie on these very streets. It was called The Blob. Yes, it was called The Blob. But it wasn't the first movie to be called The Blob. It was actually the second movie. The first movie, let's not get them mixed up now. The first Blob came out in 1958, and it was very scary, and people got scared, and they stayed scared for 30 years. And then somebody said, that was so scary, why don't we make another one, the exact same story? So they did. Not exactly the same, but you get it. Had the same name. And they decided to film it here in Abbeville, Louisiana. Oh yeah. And since this was a town supposedly in California, in the mountains with skiers and such, the Blob took advantage of his time here, and he would be seen like sliming up and down the street, you know, window shopping and stuff. And of course that wasn't very popular because he left a pink slime trail everywhere he went, like a big snail. And they basically destroyed downtown. And one of the things they destroyed was actually right over here. This has been an empty lot for many, many years. And it's some parking and stuff back there right now, I believe. But for the movie, they actually built the facade of I think a little cafe or diner or something right there. And of course, when the Blob was going around and doing his window shopping, he worked up an appetite and decided to go into the diner, something like that. And basically they blew the diner up, and but it was right over there. And there was blob juice everywhere. And it was cool because they had like pieces of the roadway were supposed to be smashed, so the pavement was like sticking up at angles and everything. And that was done all along right here. And I believe right at this intersection back here is where they like flipped over a car or a van or something, and a Jeep or some kind of stuff, blew a bunch of stuff up, and there was like pink slime juice everywhere, and all that stuff. A lot of it happened at night, so it looks completely different than this. And just so you know, this cannon right here, over here, was that was not used in the Blob, and it didn't blow the Blob up, and they didn't shoot it at him. It had nothing to do with the movie, but it is a very old cannon. It's an 1841 mountain howitzer. You don't see those every day. And this anchor here, very big and very heavy, is actually a World War II memorial. It came from a destroyer, but they don't know the name of the destroyer that it came from. But it was given by the United States Department of the Navy and is a fitting addition to the memorial here, where the cafeteria got blown up. I keep calling it a cafeteria. It was a diner. I mean, you know, it was a diner. But anyway, it was right here where all this is now, and it got blowed up into itty bitty pieces, and they flew all over, and pink slime juice flew everywhere. Here's the big courthouse that was covered in pink slime from the Blob. I think it's all gone now. So, to continue, the Blob, as I said many times, was filmed on these very streets. And that very courthouse was in it. But who were the stars of the Blob of 1988? Well, you should know. If you're so smart, Google it. Now, before you Google it though, I'm gonna cheat. I Googled it for you. Shawnee Smith was the lead actress in the movie, and Kevin Dillon was the guy who went by blowing the horn. No, Kevin Dillon was the male lead in the movie, and they pretty much were terrorized by the Blob the whole time in the movie, and the whole town was terrorized because it was horrible. It was the Blob. This downtown was completely terrorized and destroyed during the course of the movie. And the Blob oozed out of the windows of the courthouse and oozed down the street and blobbed his way. And then the Blob got down toward the end of the street over there and did a dance. And it was all gross because he was pink and blobby and sparkly and stuff. And they destroyed the whole downtown. They wrecked the streets, and the Blob smashed cars, and he smashed some trucks, and he smashed a Jeep way down there, and he smashed a van or something that was over there, and he smashed some people over there, and he was a big pink mess, and all the buildings were covered in gross, disgusting pink Blob slime. And here's the creepiest part of this whole scary story about the movie. All up and down downtown, the buildings, the street, the trees, the air, everything was covered with pink Blob slime. And it was gross, and everybody had to step in it and stuff. Even if you weren't in the movie, you still had to step in it and walk around. So it was disgusting and gross. But the news story is that even today, the Blob is not gone. Even at this time, the Blob is still here. If you come to downtown Abbeville in the middle of the night when it's all dark and scary, and if you go and climb down inside the sewer pipe, you would get really gross and dirty. And when you come out, your hands could be covered with pink Blob slime. Now that's scary. Isn't it? But that's the story of the Blob that destroyed Abbeville. And actually, I'm using my regular voice now. I'm not, well, some people might think it's scary, but actually in the movie, the town of Abbeville doubled for a town in California, I believe. It was actually supposed to be like a ski resort town, and you know, guess it's South Louisiana. So movie magic, they turned it into a California town. And at the beginning, if I remember correctly, at the beginning they show like a shot from way up high in the sky, and in this shot from way up in the sky, you can see the town spread out down below, and it's surrounded by mountains. And the first time I saw it, it made me laugh a little bit, because it was movie magic. There are no mountains anywhere around here, but you could see all the landmarks. You could see the downtown street, you could see the big steeple of the church and everything in that one shot, and that was pretty cool. So if you get a chance, try to find a copy of the Blob. Actually find both Blobs. Blob 50s Blob, the 1958 Blob might be a little harder to find. I don't know. It was so popular, it's probably out there somewhere. And then look up the 1988 Blob and do a little comparison, see which one you think is the scariest and which one makes you have bad dreams about waking up in a sewer with pink blob slime all over your hands. It'd be pretty scary. Yeah, that would be pretty scary. Well, after all that information on site where the Blob was actually filmed in its entirety in scary, glistening, pink, sparkly I don't think it was 3D. Anyway, I talked to a friend of mine about the movie, and he said, hang on, I got something for you if you want to use it. I was like, sure, okay. And he showed up with this. Now, it's not the case that I'm gonna share with you, but I have to be very careful with it. He is a collector. He has a huge collection of VHS tapes. And, well, let me get this out so you can see it. Be careful with it. All right. But this is the actual 1988 edition, VHS edition of The Blob. And I'll let you look at it, but not too close. I'm getting a good glare on it too. But that's the real thing there. The Blob, all 92 minutes, I believe, in VHS glory. I think he's only played it like 3 times because he wanted to save it and make sure it was perfect. But this is it. This is the movie. Another little tidbit is that I don't know who out there might remember an actress named Candy Clark. She was in this film as well, one of the supporting actresses. And she was also in American Graffiti. That was done back in the 70s. So I don't know, I don't remember exactly what year, so at least 10 years before The Blob was done. She was in American Graffiti, and she played a great character, and she's funny. She did some good stuff. But yeah, this is the original 1988 copy of the Blob. The original 1988 copy of the Blob, and I'm just going to put this right back in the case here. Before anything happens to it, I'm going to put it right back in the case here. Oh God. All safe, all locked up, safe. Wrapped in foam. Anyway, that was a little bit extra about the Blob that I bet you didn't know. And see you next time on Look Dat. Check back soon for more Look Dat.